when it's time to heal and feel, be real. You just gotta take your time, unwind and chill. Cause now it's time to love yourself. Build emotional and mental health. Cause Black woman, it's time to heal and feel, be real.
Hey y'all, we're back with another episode of Black Women Healing Podcast, and as usual, we have a special guest. Also, shout out to the podcast studio that we're in. We're going to tag them on all that. They are absolutely amazing. So, I'm going to introduce our guest. As the founder and CEO of the Black Marriage Movement, Danai leads one of the most engaged communities on Black love worldwide. With a following of nearly 500,000 marriage-minded males and females, Danai has curated a one-of-a-kind space for listening, learning, laughing, and supporting love. Her platform was designed to give followers a safe space for open communication to help couples love one another better. As a relationship coach, she's the ultimate goal to share the hope and optimism of having self-love, being in love, building a healthy marriage, and creating the love of your dreams. Oh, I love that. After a decade of working in Hollywood as an entertainment journalist and TV/film producer, Danai pivoted to follow her true passion and heart's calling, teaching couples how to love one another. The Black Marriage Movement was born, an online platform centered around dating, relationships, marriage, coaching, and so much more. Danai graduated from Howard University with a bachelor's degree in communications. She also pursued her master's degree in marriage and family therapy from Pepperdine University.
Come on.
Danai coaches individuals and couples from around the world in all stages of relationships.
Yes, I do.
Welcome to our podcast.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes. So before we jump in, we always ask our guests of this or that. Danica, do you have one?
Yeah. I don't want to take another one from the people.
You want me to say one?
Yeah, if you got something on your brain.
Ooh, I hope we haven't done this one before, but would you rather have one song on repeat or one episode from a show you love?
You mean like for the rest of my life or for how long?
Question.
Let's say every Sunday.
Ooh.
Okay.
Doggone it, that's hard. And the only reason it's hard is because I'm an artist and I'm a creative and I love, love, love music like you would not believe. But I also love television like you would not believe. Like I was like Rosie O'Donnell. I was that kid who I could literally tell you every single thing that was on television when I was a kid based on what time it was. Yeah. And I'm like, because I cannot think of a show right now, probably because I'm not thinking Cosby Show or A Different World, I'll say a song. I'll say a song. And yeah, if I had to hear a song every week, do I have to say what the song is?
Yes, please. I want to hear
Oh,
now.
gosh. Okay. That's even hard too. Probably something gospel.
Okay.
When I was in Zimbabwe recently, my cousins, all they listen to is gospel. And so I found a new song and I'm completely in love with it. And it's called You Remain. And it's just beautiful. And if it wasn't that, then I would listen to something by Stephanie Gretzinger. Like she's got this compilation of mercy, which is like you desire mercy, and mercy triumphs over judgment. And I love that. And then it goes into this whole other thing. But it's like 3 songs strung out in one. But I think the reason why it would be gospel for me is because gospel picks me up, it lifts me up, it reminds me of who I am, it reminds me of who God is, it reminds me that everything is going to be okay, and that no matter how much is going on with the world or how much things are crazy or upheaval or surprises, there could be 20,000 surprises for me, but they're never a surprise for God.
Yeah.
So I'm always reminded of that. And I love particularly gospel that has scripture in it, because then you're reminding yourself of what God has already said to you. And it's just like, yeah, this is already, I can pray this all day long and that's great, but the answers are already yes and amen because it's his word. I'm just speaking his word back to him. So
Oof.
yeah, that lifts me.
That feels good. Oof. That feels so good.
That feels real good. Yeah. I'm even thinking how you said that song that has like 3 different songs in it. I forget about music like that.
Yeah.
That's like
They don't really make it anymore. That's why.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to listen, go to YouTube, just put in worship. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of churches who still to this day will just have worship services. And you can just go in with them. I'm telling you. And that's when you'll find these beautiful compilations of like song after song after song. I missed one at my church. Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
On Wednesdays, I would go to, and this was prior to the pandemic. Everything switched up after that. But I was going to church home. And I missed the Wednesday when Justin Bieber was in church with Chandler Moore. And they did the song. What was the song called? I am not going to remember the name of the song. But it's based on the scripture of like, be anxious for nothing. And when I tell you, it takes every ounce of worry away when I listen to that song. And that version.
You have to send it to us. Now I have to hear it.
I will send it to you. It is so fire. I'm like, and shout out to Justin. I've seen him in church, and I should not do this, but I'm going to say this because it's a good thing. When celebs and things come to church, or when politicians and things come to church, I kind of look to just see, what are they going to do? Like, are they going to come in, like, make an announcement and leave? Or, are they going to mingle? Whatever. And I sat behind him in Bible study one time. First time I'd ever seen him in church. And he stayed for the whole Bible study. He went out at one point at the end of the service. And I thought, okay, he's not going to mingle. Came back out 5 minutes later, mingled with anybody who wanted to mingle. I was like, that's a believer. That's a believer. That's the real thing. I was so impressed with him. I did. So then finding out that like he was also like worshiping as well, and not just worshiping, but like using his gift and offering it up to the body. I loved that. I was so mad that I was not in service the week that he did that. But yeah, it's a really, really beautiful song. Jireh. I couldn't remember. It's Jireh. The song is called Jireh. And Jireh, as you guys all know, is, Jehovah Jireh is our provider. So it's the most beautiful song because it reminds me that that's who God is to me. He's my Jireh. He's my provider. And provider is whatever you need, which, taking us into relationships, one of the biggest misconceptions for men and women that I believe is sort of creating confusion and creating pain in our relationships is we think that provider men only means money. And what I tell my audience is, yes, providing includes money. However, like, don't, not provide for your family. Scripture talks about that. A man who, doesn't provide for his man is an infidel. But money is the lowest level that a man provides on. There are so many other things that your woman and your children need that if you do not give them, they end up feeling neglected, abandoned, and ignored.
Right.
Yeah. So
absolutely
all of it. We need all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you changed my mind on the this and that. As soon as Myra said this or that about the show or the songs, like I'm a TV person, so I'm thinking like Martin can play all day, like Living Single or something. But you actually just changed my mind about like the music, like especially like those types of songs that like go into the other ones. And I'm even I just imagine my whole self cleaning, but even just chilling, laying, just listen to it. I imagine me turning it up real loud, turning it down, like on low, just kind of there. So I think I might be with you on the song.
Come on, songs.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go through her catalog.
There you go. I will send you everything. I'll send you everything I just mentioned.
I'm gonna have to figure it out. Yeah, cause
I like to share.
Yes.
Yeah. What's that? What is that? Sounds of Dark.
No, you're not gonna say Sounds of Blackness because that's what I was gonna say. Optimistic.
Well, I don't know if that's the name of it, but that's when I think of.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking
your
about
head
that
to
one.
the
That was what I was gonna say.
So that song is long. Or
like, "Don't
one
steal
song
my
I'm
song."
thinking of this is long.
They have a song that's like 7 minutes long. Also, but I can't think of the name
Yes.
of it.
But yeah, something like that. But definitely can go in your. I think I'm gonna choose that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Wow. So I was gonna say Sounds of Blackness because I absolutely love that song. But I've been really feeling Everything by Mary J. Blige. And I've been like having this different experience with love songs where like I sing them to myself And it's the most powerful thing ever. Like, I've been singing You're My Everything by Mary J. Blige to myself. And then when I was at the concert, I was crying because I was like, oh my God, like I really feel this about myself. Because at first I thought the song was about my daughter. Like I love Mary J. Blige, but a lot of her songs, I feel like this is about my child. Like when I became pregnant, when I had her. But then I was like, no, this is actually, you got to sing this to yourself. And it's the most healing experience ever. Like I actually listened to it on repeat, like over and over and over.
Oh my goodness.
I wish we could pick 3 songs.
Oh, that ain't what she said.
Nah, but do y'all know You Send Me Swangin' by Mint Condition?
Used to me swinging.
You Send Me Swangin'.
Never heard it.
So apparently it's a very popular song. I had never heard the song until I want to say like 2 months ago. And I listened to that song like 5 times a day. Like that's how much I love it. It's something about the way the song makes me feel. And again, I sing it to myself. Like I'm not thinking about like my partner. I'm not thinking about anybody. I sing it to myself.
I'm loving the self-lovery.
Yeah.
The self-lovery is real.
Yes. Well, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into some questions. Are you ready? Okay. So you made a bold transition from Hollywood to focusing on relationships and marriage.
Yeah.
Can you share more about what inspired the pivot and how your background in entertainment influences the way that you go about your coaching?
So much. So kind of everything in my life makes sense, even though it doesn't make sense. And I say that because most people would think, okay, well, a career in Hollywood has nothing to do with helping couples to get along or teaching people about love, etc. But it totally did. My name is Danai. Danai is a Shona name. It means to love each other. My middle name is Padamoyo. It means go ahead and love each other. No. It means what my heart really wanted. First name is go ahead and love each other. Last name is Maraire. That is many with wisdom, or the ones who teach and tell the people. So biblically, I believe that God gives people names, and your names often have your mantle. They will tell you something about your talent, your gift, your personality, the kind of person that you are. If you read through the scriptures, you'll find that. And so if you take my whole name, you literally can make it say, what my heart really wanted is for the ones with people to teach and tell the people how to love each other. Excuse me. What my heart really wanted was for the ones with wisdom to teach and tell the people to love each other. So that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And relationships have always been my thing. Love has always been my thing. I'm a big lover. And that was before I was ever thinking anything about entertaining. But I come from an entertaining family as well. Both of my parents are musicians. Both of them are teachers. My grandparents are teachers. My grandfather is a headmaster. And I grew up in this really vibrant, abundant community of both artists and teachers, etc. And then you got this whole love thing going on as well. So when I was 15 years old, I would counsel girls all the time, partly because my brothers were super popular and they had half the basketball team or the football team like in the rec room, and I'd be listening in on what the boys were all saying. And what the boys were saying and what the girls were understanding were two totally different things. And so I started being a go-between between the two, and that just never stopped, and it just kept evolving. So even when I went to Howard, even when I, came to LA and I started doing, working on television shows and working in movies and things, I got to do a lot of interviews. And a lot of times I would sneak a marriage question in, a relationship question in, a love question in, et cetera, because it's just always been a part of me. But so has like music, entertainment, film. When I was telling you earlier, in the icebreaker about how I could literally tell the time of day by whatever was on television, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've always consumed the content, and I've always worked on being a creative as well. So I know it doesn't seem like they're the same, but they do kind of merge. And so I was working on a show with a major network, and it was like my favorite job ever. And we abruptly got canceled. I know. And so when we got canceled, it was in the middle of the 2008 downturn, right? Mm-hmm. And so the market was in free fall. No one was hiring. We were in like the worst economy since arguably the Great Depression. And I couldn't find a job. And I was on unemployment, and Obama kept extending it. And I've always been a nerd. I've always been a scholar. I've loved books. I've loved learning. I will not stop learning until I die. And I finally went, you know what? Let me go to grad school since, I'm on unemployment and I can't find a job. Let me do something that is still going to increase my skill sets, that's in an area that I love, that's something that I'm super interested in, and not waste this time of not being able, to find a job. So that's what I did.
Wow.
Yep. Pepperdine, here we come. And yeah, after that, I ended up through a bunch of ups and downs. I started a couple of companies, and as you know, usually your first one doesn't go very well. Got a bunch of things, had a bunch of failures that were really, really big, and ended up renting a room from someone. This is very interesting. Ended up renting a room from someone who was a friend of mine, had a big house and a family, and I didn't have money, but I did have time. And so I got onto YouTube and I just started scrolling through how to make a page, how to make it profitable, how to build an audience, all these different things. And I consumed as much as I could for about 30 days on how to create like a successful Instagram platform. And that was, 7-8 years ago. And now we're at 500,000 followers. And there you go. And the crazy part about that story is I was renting a room in her home, right? And I could barely afford to pay for the room that I was renting in her home. She now rents a house I bought based off of the money that I made doing Black Marriage Movement. I bought a house and I bought it in Dallas because I was going to stay in Dallas with my mom. Whole other story. But the point is, the woman who I used to rent a room from is now renting my entire house.
That's wild.
Is that not insane?
Full circle.
Come on, Jesus.
It is, but it's not.
Come on. I know, right?
Right, because God.
But God.
Right.
Always, but God.
Yes.
He has so much more in store for you than you could ever imagine. Ask, hope, or think, as he says, So it was better than I could have thought. And yeah. And thank you for everybody who supports the Black Marriage Movement, because I would not have that if it were not for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so inspiring.
Yes.
I'm just hearing you exude just like from your story. Like you just like, look. But getting into it a little bit more, can you share with us a few reasons why Black women and Black men initiate divorce?
You know what's so interesting about that is it seems to be one of the most common subject matters that is constantly brought to the platform. So one of the things I prayed for, and by the way, I prayed for everything. I will tell you, if anybody asked me what was my secret, my main secret was I asked God for everything. I was dependent on God. I didn't have nothing. And so I was constantly like, okay, God, this is your thing. I'm dedicating it to you. You show me what to do and I'll do whatever you say. So I pray for everything. And one of the things that I asked for was a really vibrant page when it comes to like discussions. I have two rules. One is that you cannot be disrespectful to myself or to any guests or to each other. It's a love page. And the second is I ask that you not use profanity, because then that elevates the level of the dialogues. And then we're just kinder to each other, if we have rules like that. And so one of the biggest topics that people are constantly bringing to me, whether it be men or women, usually men, is 70% of divorces are initiated by women. And so, yes. And what I started noticing is that a lot of the men do not know why. They do not understand why. And they make that clear because the things that they are saying that women are leaving them for are not what the women are saying. So at one point, I finally just decided to do it. And I've done it like 4 different times. I finally just posted and I said, all right, ladies, if you've left your husband, if your mom left your dad, if your best friend left her husband, whatever it is, but if you've walked like a bestie or a friend or a cousin, an auntie, whatever, through a divorce and the woman filed, tell me why the woman left. And every time we do this, we get no less than like 1,500 responses. And women will tell you their stories. And when you read these stories, what you find out is there is a disconnect between what men are understanding and what is actually happening with women. So the men seem to think that a lot of the reasons why women are leaving are superficial, that there are things that you could live with, that there are things that are not a big deal, that they're sort of being more emotional about the decision, and that's breaking a family apart. And so they're not understanding that there are situations that are being created that women are literally saying, I cannot live with this and be happy and have a fulfilled life. This is killing me. And what's so interesting about that is science is actually starting to back that up. There's a scientist named Gabor Mate who was talking a lot about how autoimmune diseases are being caused by women who are in very unhappy marriages and relationships. I know it's wonderful. I'm so fascinated by this stuff because I'm such a nerd, like I eat it up. But that women, they're finding a large percentage of autoimmune diseases that are occurring in women who are in really unhappy marriages or really unhappy relationships. And one of the keys to it is if she cannot talk to her husband. I don't know how many husbands I have who literally do not listen to their wives, but it is a lot. Many, 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 many of them, when the wives are even talking in the comments, one of the things that you can notice if you listen with a keen ear is the men are dismissing it. They're gaslighting. They're giving excuses. They are telling them why, or they're attacking. They're being defensive. This is why you're single. You don't understand anything. Maybe if you did this, maybe if you did that, maybe if you listened
Listen
to what she is saying. And I don't say that because I am anti-male. I am actually pro-male, pro-female, pro-love. And the only way for us to make this work is if we actually listen to each other. So some of the reasons why women leave, when you read, you will be flabbergasted. You literally, whenever I read it, I'm like, I wouldn't have stayed either. Literally. So it's everything from physical abuse, financial abuse, abusing one of the children, cheating, long-term cheating, cheating while you're pregnant, having a child outside of the marriage that you didn't tell her about, still being in love with your ex, not saying it, not defending your wife when it comes to your friends, your family, especially your family, putting your mother above your wife. And there are a lot of men who are big on my mother will always be my number one. Then, sir, you need to marry your mother because scripture says leave and cleave. And if you don't understand that, you are not going to have a healthy marriage. And so there are all of these things, but there are a lot of extremes. You will not read through that and see things like, he didn't buy me a Coach bag, or he forgot to celebrate my birthday, or I don't know, Valentine's Day, or he didn't buy me the house in the country that I wanted. You're not going to see superficial reasons. You're going to see reasons where you're like, yeah, I understand, and I wouldn't want to be there either. So that's for the women. For the men, I started reading through their answers, and it was really, really fascinating. Men were really thoughtful, and I don't know, I have such a heart for them that I'm like, their hearts are so beautiful to me that like when I get to hear their thoughts and things, it just, I think oftentimes men don't communicate so much that when they do and when they're being sincere and being vulnerable and open, we really, really love that, right? So some men said that they did something for the woman to leave because they didn't want to, they didn't want to file. So because the man didn't want to file because he didn't want to be the bad guy and he didn't want to be a failure. And there's all this socialization for men around not being the person to file because he didn't want to be the person to leave his children, or he didn't want to be the person to leave his wife. And I'm saying this because that's what the men are telling me. So I'm not making this up. There were a lot of men who admitted to doing things to make her leave, but they were not going to file.
Wow.
Yeah, so they made her file. And there was even a guy when I was reading through this who was like, she did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but I didn't file. And I'm like, but you can
That's what
see.
they're holding on to.
That's exactly it. It was like, I didn't file. So I just want to encourage the men. A divorce is a divorce. And whether you file or not, If you make her life a living hell so that she will file, you are still guilty of the same thing. The only difference is external, which means you're superficially motivated.
Right.
All you care about is your reputation. You don't care about the reality of what is actually happening in the marriage. And I'm not saying that to attack you. I never say that to attack, to put down, or to, put your face in it. I'm always saying it so you can learn something, so you can challenge yourself to self-reflect and do things in a better way, right? Some of their reasons were actually really well. There were several men who said that the woman really didn't want to be a wife. She wanted a wedding. And he didn't know that. Yeah. And so that's more of the fantasy, which is not fair. Someone gets married, he's ready to marry you, he's ready to build with you, and you're really just thinking about your dress and the cake and the party, right? And so that's where the woman would be more superficial. Again, not fair. This got me. One of the things that women do not understand about men is how much they need respect. How much they need respect. And so one man said his wife treated him, and he gave me all of these things that she did that were all completely disrespectful. And then he said, and at the end of it, she admitted after the divorce, because he said, I filed, and she admitted at the end of the divorce that she never knew that she had to respect her husband as a wife. And then his last thing was, and by the way, she was a Christian.
What?
Sorry, ladies, that's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. You cannot marry a man and not respect him.
Yeah.
Psychology says it, therapy says it, Bible says it. There's no way to get around that. The number one need of a man from his woman is respect. The number one need of a woman from her man is cherishing and adoring. So if you want to know why people are divorcing, men divorce women when they feel disrespected. Women divorce men when they feel like they are not being cherished and adored. And can I give you just a little bit more on that, on what's happening with women? Because this is happening across the boards as Americans. It's happening with Black women, but not just Black women, as Americans, meaning I'm talking with divorce lawyers, judges, therapists, counselors, PhDs, also ministers. So anybody who's kind of in the entrails of marriage and dealing with what the issues are, what they are showing in terms of the number one reasons for divorce right now is, stick with me because you're not going to like it.
Come on, tell us.
I know. The reason why 70% of women are initiating relationships right now, or divorces right now, is because of the following. And if you're a man, I pray to God you listen to me and you do not feel attacked and you do not put your thing up and be defensive, because this will help you if you will listen to it. Men and women, everything has changed. Men and women are now, in most households, both people are working. We are going 50-50. Women do not feel loved when they are going 50-50. I just have to tell you the truth. A woman would like to know that at some point during her marriage, even the most ambitious women, at some point during her marriage, usually when the children come, and by the way, she might not know this about herself when she first gets into the marriage, which is why I'm saying, listen to me, because I can tell you, at some point, she would like to not have to work. At some point, she would like to be able to rest in feminine energy and take on caretaking, take on taking care of children, take on taking care of her husband even, okay? Taking care of herself as well. Not being overwhelmed, not being exhausted, and not being in an environment all day that requires her to be masculine, which is what work does. So in a home where a man is able to do that, number one, which means that you place a high priority on increasing your salary. You're not just because on one hand, racism is real, systemic racism is real, DEI is real, all of that is real. However, what is also real, and I've seen this as a coach, is there are also men who do very well and who can do better and who sit back in passive feminine energy and say, I'm not going to become my best. I'm not going to be more ambitious. I'm not going to go for that company or that raise or that promotion. I'm not going to do more because she needs to. And they do not understand how that makes a wife feel. And loved, I will tell you, is not it. It's not it. So what you will find across the boards is that women are feeling like they are taking on 2 jobs and men are taking on 1 job. And this is the job of the sexual revolution. It's the job of feminism. It's the job of Title IX, everything. The reality is equality dulls romance. So do not think about equality in your relationship, particularly to the men, because the men tend to do this. Do not try to make your woman an equal. Romance is about one person pursuing another person. Do not hear that as chasing someone who's running away from you. That's not what I'm saying. One person is clearly pursuing another person. The masculine pursues the feminine. The feminine receives that pursuit and she also responds to it. She melts into it. She lets him know that she is interested as well. She laughs at his jokes. She's very respectful. She's kind. She's loving. She dresses up for the dates. She has respect for him. She has respect for herself. But she is also doing things to show that she is also interested in him. So I am not saying chase a girl who's not interested in you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying let her know very clearly by the way that you treat her that you love her. And one of the ways that you do that after you are married is if she works outside the home and you work outside the home, when she works inside of the home, you work inside of the home too. When you do not work inside of the home and she has 2 jobs and you have 1 job, that is the reason for the divorce. Women are feeling like married single moms. Women are feeling like they're taking on so much of every single thing in terms of the responsibilities inside of the home, and it's too much for them. It's just too much, and it's not fair. And they are starting to say, if I have to do everything by myself and I have a husband, I would rather actually do it by myself.
You just
Broke
you
it
just
down.
broke it down like on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
it's so
saying.
many points in that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I wish we had more time. I'm trying to like help you guys go through the thing, but I'm just, that is a huge, and that, I want to be clear, I'll say it again, is not just Black people. It is Black people. It is not just Black people. That is, if you go to anybody who is a professional who is working with couples who are uncoupling, you will hear that. White, Black, Asian, Mexican, you will hear that.
Yes.
Women are leaving because they feel exhausted. They feel unsupported. They feel like they don't have the help that they need in their homes. They feel like their husbands are not listening when they're saying, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And there's this term called, what's it called? It is where a man pretends to be helpless. And I'm trying to think of what it's called. I can't think of what it's called right now. Weaponized incompetence.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Weaponized incompetence. And so I am going to say this because, gentlemen, it is really, really important. If your way of dealing with your wife is, and this is very, very mature, and if you think you're getting away with this, you're not. Your way of dealing with her is you're going to intentionally do the dishes wrong so that she will do them again. You will intentionally do the laundry wrong so she will do them again. You will intentionally dress the children wrong so that she will take over. And you're thinking you're smart because what you're doing is going, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it wrong, or I'm going to do it off. I'm going to do it the way she doesn't like me to do it. And then she'll yell at me. And then she's going to be so sick of me that she's just going to do it herself. What ends up happening is she is now taking on more of the load, but she does not feel helped. If she doesn't feel helped, she doesn't feel loving. If she doesn't feel loving, she doesn't admire and respect you. Number 1 need of a man in a relationship is respect. Her respect for you is going down. Right. So you think you're getting away with something when the reality is her respect for you is going down. Another side effect of her respect going down is that she's starting to step into her masculine, because what a woman will do is initially she will allow you to lead and she will ask you to lead and she will give you opportunities to lead. But if you don't step into that leadership role, she will then get it done. Now it's getting done, but there is resentment building. Now it's getting done, but she doesn't like you anymore. Now it's getting done, but she doesn't want to make love to you anymore. You want to know why you're not getting the sex you want when you want it? Because she's not getting the help that she needs when she needs it. And all of this starts with listening. Be very, very curious about what your wife is telling you. Do not get defensive. Do not gaslight. Do not dismiss her. Do not placate her. Listen to her and do what she asks you to do. And you can have a happy marriage.
It could be that simple.
Woo. Oh my goodness. I feel like this is really, the next question was talking about how we can be better as a community to support Black love, marriage, and romantic unions. You're already talking about how the people in the union can, right?
Yeah.
So, in thinking of community, like even us, like
So
how can we
good.
be better?
So good. Okay. Stop telling people that love doesn't exist. Stop telling people that love is not real. Stop giving singles. Ooh, this is so good. And you know what? I'm going to go for our community. We do our community wrong.
Man.
We tell our marriage ready, but maybe not life ready youth. So I would say, high school through college, through graduate school, trade school, whatever. So let's say from like 20 to like 27. We don't tell any of those people to prepare for marriage. We don't tell any of those people to start dating for marriage. We don't tell any of those people to start getting their educations. And some of them we do. But I'm saying our focus as a community is not get your education, get out of your parents' house, become stable financially so that you can stay out of your parents' house. So if you need to stay in your parents' house for your education, that's fine because you're getting your education, right? We're going somewhere. So prepare yourself to be educated, to have job skills, to have trade skills, to be able to take care of a family. Prepare yourself to be able to take care of a husband. Use your nurturing skills. Use all of the skills that your parents are going to give you, your mothers are going to give you, your aunts, everybody. We do not tell our boys and our girls in those ages, in our 20s, prepare for marriage. What do we tell them? Party, it's too early. Oh, I know you think you love him now. That's just your first boyfriend. Let him go, go get a bunch more boyfriends or go get a bunch more girls. Oh, you got one girlfriend? Oh, that's not enough. Look at how we set people up for when they finally do find the love of their life. What have they done to prepare for it? I always say, you will do in the game what you do in practice. If all you know how to do is survive the dating world, every single thing that you are learning to survive successfully in the dating world, particularly today, will kill a marriage.
Oof. What is making me think about, though, is like a medium of it, right?
Yeah.
So when I think about that, that's like my grandparents, like my parents, it was like they were trained to be a wife, right?
Exactly.
To like that was all they had. So
Exactly.
then once it got to this generation and they seen how it has destroyed them in so many different ways, they're like, focus on yourself. Like you saying, go live your life. Don't worry about this because once you get here, you're going to be exhausted.
Right.
And so I think it's like a medium. We need both. We need to think about, like, you should be exploring yourself and you should be focused on that, but you also can be preparing for partnership and for union as well. I think it's a way to do both.
Here's what I would say, because I agree with you. There's a way to do both. I am not saying, for instance, get married at 20. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think you're ready. And I do think that there's more maturing that needs to happen, on top of the fact that how many 20-year-olds can buy a house, have a job, buy a car, be out of student loan debt, and start working together as a couple. Your frontal lobe isn't even done until you're 25. Okay? So let's just be honest about that. On top of that, I was one who wanted to get married when I was 17. I had a teacher who knew I wanted to get married. She got married at 17. It worked. It was great. Still, she was the first person to give me stats on why this was the worst idea for me to do, because she told me the truth about it. She was like, we were too young and you were too young too. And then she gave me why. And once I could see why, I had a total respect for it. Everything in the why was about the real preparation that we don't give our kids. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit vulgar here. You should not be having sex if you cannot pay for a wife and a baby. Now I'm talking to men. That's the reality. People are going to say I'm mean for that. But the reality is, do you understand where the poverty is happening? Do you understand where the food stamps is happening? Section 8 is happening, where dropping out of high school and college is happening. Do you understand why young people are fighting? I'll go you one better. U.S. News and World Report is going to tell you that people are fighting, that marriages are fighting and breaking up over money. Not my couples. I haven't had any couples breaking up over money. As I am in this moment thinking about it, do you know who's breaking up over money? 20 to 25-year-olds who have no business having sex, and then they have an oops, and now there's a baby. And are we prepared to take care of it, to have a house, to have a car, to feed the baby, to take care of daycare, to make sure that you're still going to school, make sure I'm still going? Are we done being kids? Because the reality is your education is still an extension of your childhood. Once you are done with your education, you can now go have a family. You can go take care of yourself. And if there is an oops at that point, it's not an emergency anymore. It's you know what? I chose you because I liked you. I didn't choose you because I was trying to get away from my dad. I didn't choose you because I was depressed. I didn't choose you because you were the only person that I could get. I chose you because I liked you. That's one of the things that happened when my teacher gave me that list, and 27 is when the divorce rate starts going down. Think about where you are at 27. You've already been through undergrad. You might have a graduate school degree. You might be a doctor. You might be a lawyer. By then, you've already got all of 27 years old. You know what I mean? You've got all of those things. So you've had your first apartment. You've had your first job. You know what I mean? You've had some experience away from your parents. You've taken on some responsibility. What we don't tell our kids is get the responsibility stuff done first, so that you can date. That's first of all. Secondly, date for marriage. I know that's going to be so controversial. Do you know how many broken hearts and oops babies with people that you don't even know, or scares? Because we're not even talking about the babies that don't go into term because we're having all of these abortions, et cetera. Do you know how much is put on young people before they are equipped to deal with it? So I think when you say, you can do both, have life experiences. They don't have to include having a city girl summer. Like all you're doing is hurting yourself. You know what I mean? We were not created for that. We really, really weren't. And y'all can say whatever you want to. I'm the counselor, and I've been coaching girls since I was 15. And I told you that. So I know about a ton of girls who tried from 15 to 25 to do what all the hot girls were doing. They got their hearts broken. If we're going to tell the truth, they got their hearts broken. We are not made the same as men. And I could tell you why on that as well. Estrogen versus testosterone are completely different. Women bond via sex. Men do not bond via sex. It takes more than that. And that was one of the first things I found out when I was 15 years old, and I'm listening to all the boys and what they're saying. They're liking the sex. They're wanting the sex. The girls think they're in love. There's a total different chasm between that. Therefore, again, yes, women can have experiences. Go to Paris, get an internship, go to whatever field that you want to be in, and you don't have the money yet and you're 19 years old, and go do a free internship for 6 months. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, there are things that you can do. Travel, pick up a skill set, do an apprenticeship. There are a lot of other things you can do other than having sex with a boy that you do not know if you are going to end up with for the rest of your life. And I say the same thing for the men. Having sex with a woman that you don't know if you're going to end up with for the rest of your life. And men tend to do it a little bit different. Men tend to be socialized, and this is not all of them, but they tend to be socialized to say, oh, well, I'm just having fun. Sex is fun. Sex for girls is not fun. Like I just said, we fall in love. So if the boys are having fun and they never had an intention to marry this person, and now there is a child here, this is part of how our families are being destroyed. So what can we do as a community to support this? Tell the kids to date for marriage. Tell them how incredible marriage is. Teach them that dating actually is something you do for marriage. And here's what I mean. Americans do this wrong. Other cultures get this right. We give all the best of ourselves while we're dating. And then we get married at 30, 35 and go, Yes. And we're like, and you took everybody else on trips and did celebrations and you did the balloons and you did the flowers and you did all the fancies and everything. Horse carriage rides through the parks, right? And that's not your partner, but that's who you wanted to impress. Then you get married and you go, and the person goes, do you love me? And they're like, I married you, didn't I? And you're like, I don't have to do anything anymore. That's not what you do. You date your wife. You date your husband. You save those amazing experiences, those trips to Paris, those, all of the rose petals and the balloons and the chocolate covered strawberries. That is for the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So I would say that. And then the last thing I'll say is just as a community, we need to start encouraging young people to think about marriage and not to think about single parenthood. We do need to ostracize it again. It's not ostracized. And I don't mean shame people for feeling bad. I do mean do not exalt it as a goal.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. You do need a man. You do need a woman to have a child. Children do better when they are coming from, a two-parent home. And everybody does better. You do better. I do better. It shouldn't be a struggle. We do better at wealth building. We do better at keeping our kids, giving our kids a structure that gives them, the self-esteem to go into the school system and to do better in school and to not end up in prison and to not end up as teenage pregnancies and to not participate in truancy. The love of a mother and a father inside of the home who love each other and are married has a special blessing on it. And I talk about that a lot. Even the fact that, and this is the last thing I'll say on this, you can have a couple who's shacking up and they've got kids and they bought a house and they're doing the things. And you have a couple who's married and they have kids and they bought the house and they're doing the things. This couple will always make more money than this couple. There is a blessing on marriage and a multiplication in marriage that doesn't happen when you're shacking. And I think part of the reason for that is if you have my child and we're sharing a bed and a house and you have not married me and my kid is 3, 4, 5 years old, you have not committed to me. If you have not committed to me, I have not committed to you fully either. I want to, but I'm not committed to you because something about you does not trust me. So why would I give 100% of my resources, my money, and my value to you and to this? I wouldn't. I would always have a backup plan, whether I told you that or not.
Ooh. Okay.
Married people are committed.
Mike is dropped, y'all.
They're committed. There's no backup plan. And it doesn't mean that marriages don't divorce. It means the attitude of the people is, I don't have a backup plan, so we got to figure this out. That's where the wealth comes from.
You hear this, Dad? I mean, I have to shout him out because literally everything you're saying is why my stepmom left him. So you can listen to this episode and learn some things. She literally said, like, you are just my roommate. We don't travel. We don't go on vacation. We do nothing together. I am trying to get this degree to pursue my dreams, and you're just filling up my schedule with more things to do. And it's inconsiderate. And she asked him, can we go to therapy? He agreed, didn't show up.
Yes.
She was like, I'll give you one more chance. He didn't do it. And so that's why she had to leave him.
I wish that I could say that's the first time, the second time, the third time only that I've heard that story. And that is what makes me sad because that is totally avoidable.
Yeah.
All he would have to do is listen, become incredibly curious, pay attention to what she's really saying, and then do what she's asking him to do. But this is also why, just in case anybody wants to put this on me, listen to Dr. John Gottman, who is the therapist of all therapists. Google him, look him up, and he will tell you when marriages fail, when relationships fail, 9 times out of 10, it is on the man, not the woman. And that is not because he is attacking you, men. Please just hear what I'm saying because I don't want you to get divorced. What he's saying is the things that the man does matter more than what the woman is doing, because 9 times out of 10, it's what your stepmother was doing. So she is doing all the things to try to make this thing work, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is resisting doing all of the things that she is asking him to do to make it work. He knows he's resisting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said weaponized incompetence.
Yep.
It's a very real thing. And that's why I also said, gentlemen, please hear me when you think that you are winning and you're taking a shortcut because you just got out of doing whatever the thing was that she wanted you to do, you are losing your woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we're going to wrap it on up, y'all. Do you have any takeaways for our listeners? Please give us some gems.
Love each other. It's so much easier. Just love each other. That's all I care about. All I want everybody to do is love each other. Do not lie to people. If you don't like somebody, do not use them as a placeholder. If you don't like somebody, do not waste their time. Women have a certain amount of time with which they can have children. If you know you do not want to have children and a future and a love with her, do not waste her time. It is incredibly, incredibly debilitating. If you know you are not interested in him, don't waste his money. Don't have him paying your bills. Don't use men for dinners and breakfasts and brunches, and stop this. What is this? You're going to the most expensive restaurant on your very first date and taking a freaking doggy. Stop it. Y'all need to respect each other. Yes, a doggy bag at the most expensive steakhouse in town. Talk about, can I bring some home for my roommate? Love is not hard. Respect is not hard. We need to go back to what our mothers taught us when we were 5 years old and they were sending us off into the world, into kindergarten. In fact, there's a poem, and I used to have it as a poster, and I gave it to my science teacher when I was in high school, but it's called Everything I Ever Needed to Know About Life. I learned in kindergarten. And one of the things on there is literally, when you hurt somebody, you apologize. You don't intentionally hurt people, and you treat people the way that you want to be treated.
Right.
These things are not trigonometry. You need to go back to them, and you need to stop playing games, and you need to stop seeing people as resources to get what you want. And if you do not have a servant's heart, do not get married. Stop playing with people. Y'all are playing with people. Don't do it.
Ooh.
Just love each other. If you're not going to love each other, this is what I want to leave you with. If your agenda and your objective when you get with a person is not to love them, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Give them the opportunity to have somebody who actually cares about them.
Yes. Yes.
That's it.
Well, y'all, that's it for this week's episode of Black Women Healing Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We will be dropping episodes every Monday. Sorry, I had a glitch in my brain.
See y'all then.